if all you know is where you've been, you can't really grow, right?
Even if you have a business, it's even worse because the business expenses, and if you want to grow in your business, you need to invest. You need to use money.
Yep.
Like how life, it's a game. Because for me, it's like a simulation. Here we have Cody, full-time entrepreneur, travel hacker, making hundreds of thousands of dollars in business funding. He is the owner and founder of Infinite Living. This is a company dedicated for credit services and credit education. And today, he's going to reveal his whole journey. Hey, so welcome back to Luxury Talks, where we're diving into real estate and Miami living. So this is your first time in the studio, right?
In this one, yeah.
Yeah, so this is basically luxury studio for podcasts. It's new. So as you can see in front of you, you can see some of the houses that they manage. They're like, bro, they're one of the wonderful houses here in Miami. You've been to one of them.
Yeah.
That one was like 5 mil.
Okay.
They have under management from like 5 to 20 mil. So they're pretty like luxurious.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm collaborating with the podcast now and interviewing people, and then Miami living, it's like, where do you live?
Yeah. Downtown, right?
And then you live in downtown?
Yeah. I've been looking at, so our lease is up in the end of November.
And how much you're paying right now?
My portion is like $2,000 a month.
Wait. Your portion? So how much is the whole thing?
$4,000.
4,000?
Yeah.
And what do you do for living here in Miami?
So a couple different things. So and then we got a couple different divisions inside of the company. So we've got obviously the credit repair side of things, where you've gone through like the inquiry removal, like to get those off, which has been great. We have the credit development side. So we have the boot camp for every 8 weeks where we go through that of personal credit, business credit, and then travel hacking, like, which just got back from Europe. So we'll probably talk about that for a month. Yeah. And then we've got the business funding side of things where you got connected with Diane, and then we'll go through some other things, which I want to talk to you about today as well. And then recently in October, we launched the insurance division as well. So life insurance, right? And I think you have your license, or you?
Yeah, I do have my license. Yeah, if you ever need it.
Sell me.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
In real estate, there is many things that I'm doing. So there is like investments, I'm doing sales, I'm also doing like wholesaling. Like there's so many things, and as you can see in credit, there's so many
different like aspects inside.
Yes.
Credit as a whole. There's personal, right? But there's like the education and development, but there's also credit repair. And the business side, you've got business funding, right? With real estate, you've got wholesale, you got long-term rentals, short-term rentals, fix and flips, you got wholesale, and then you've got like low-end properties, and you've got more luxurious properties, which is okay. That's what you're doing. And then even with insurance, you've got IULs, you've got whole life policies, you've got term, right? Mortgage protection, which ties into real estate, which is a form of term. So multiple different facets or aspects of it, right? When it comes to each individual industry as a whole, which is awesome. So,
yes. So coming back from, the Miami questions. So you're doing all that gives you like access to have this lifestyle of living in Miami, right?
Yes.
Is it, you like it? Would you like to stay here, or you're thinking about moving?
So at the end of November of this year will be essentially 3 years.
Okay.
And even before, so I moved to Miami with 3 weeks notice. I don't even know if you knew that. So
no, I don't think so.
So yeah.
Give me a story.
Yeah. So it was November of 2021, and the opportunity came up of like, hey, do you want to potentially move to Miami? And I was like, okay, when? Like 3 weeks. I was like, okay, maybe let me think on it for a day or so. But I was like, I wasn't opposed to it. Okay. And the reason is because ever since like April of 2020, I was living at home with my parents, came home from college. That was right after COVID was hitting.
Okay.
So there wasn't a reason to move out and do other things. Okay, cool. Still live with them, save up some money, trade, invest, all that. Amazing. The opportunity then came up, but I'd also had different opportunities to move to different places in the country with other friends. And those just ended up falling through. I had mentors here. The network was here, being a huge crypto hub, entrepreneurship hub. I was just like, okay, of all the places that I'd looked at, this one probably makes the most sense. And yeah, on 3 weeks notice that, I think it was like 2.5 by the time I made the decision. I was like, cool, moving to Miami. So my point in saying that is that was November of 2021. We're in 2024 now. So November of 2024 will be 3 full years that I've been here. And even going to the fact of like moving to Miami, I was thinking, let me give this 3 to 5 years, right? Because a lot of the things I base it on short term is like 3 to 5 years or so of what I want to do in that time frame.
Okay.
So yeah, it's kind of hitting that time frame. If I decide in October, November, I'm like, let me extend it another 12 months, I will. Otherwise, yeah, my roommate and I were just talking about that the other day. Like, what's the plan after this year? Do I potentially again want to move to Tampa to help everyone on the insurance side of things? Do I not? Because if I don't stay in Miami or don't move to Tampa, I'll probably move out of Florida. But then where do I want to go? So like, that's where I'm trying to figure it out.
Got it.
And at the same time, I'm like, I moved to Miami on 3 weeks notice. I still have 8 months, right? Like, or 8 or 9 months. I've got time to even figure out a month, 2 months, 3 months in advance of what I want to do, where I want to go.
That's the good thing about having time freedom while working, your companies. What's your main purpose on being uncomfortable, by leaving your parents' house? Was that the main purpose, to being uncomfortable, or what was the main purpose of leaving your parents' house?
So 2 things. One, if all you know is where you've been, you can't really grow, right? There's the shark tank and the fish tank, or the shark and the fish tank analogy, right? It's only going to grow as big as it can, as big as its environment. So I have a mental block every time I go back home because of the fact that you from literally, I've lived in the same house my entire life. So from the time I was born till 18, 0 to 18, Cody was born and raised in that house. So younger Cody's there. Okay, cool. You go away for 9 months for college for 2 years, fine. But then spend another year and a half there. So I've spent 19, almost 20 years of my life at that, let's say 19 years of my life at that house. Anytime I go back, I have a mental block where I'm not as productive. I just don't do as much. I'm just very much more so lazy. So getting out of that environment is much more helpful, I think, to my growth, where I wasn't nearly making the amount of money I'm making now compared to that. Obviously, we grow when we succeed, but even as I'm moving out, I probably took a little bit of a financial hit because I probably didn't adjust properly. But as soon as you're then hit with real world problems, right, of having to pay rent, of having to pay utilities, of having to pay this, and this, then you're like, I actually have to adult and I have to actually grow up, which most people don't. And that's why I talk to a lot of the other younger individuals who I mentor and talk to and work with. Like, I'm making all this money. I'm like, but you're not really, because when you start,
you actually
renter's insurance, your rent, food, all of this, you're like, man, I only have, I've raised 300, 500, maybe 1,000 left over. If you're lucky, depending on how much you're making, it's just something to pay attention to. So I definitely think it was something I had to change my environment for, to be able to stay in more long-term growth. And when saying that, it definitely hurt my income originally, because I was like, I thought I was okay making only X amount, but I actually have to make twice that, right? Or a little bit more, or whatever it is. And then there's definitely been the ups and downs of entrepreneurship, as we both know.
Yep.
But it's definitely been worth it at the end.
I mean, even if you have a business, it's even worse, because the business expenses, and if you want to grow in your business, you need to invest. You need to use money.
Yep.
So yes,
I talked to a lot of my employee friends, and one of them in particular, he does solar, right? But and he makes good money, about 10, 12K a month or so on average. He's had higher months of 18 to 20. Oh, congratulations, right? Amazing.
Why?
But, our age is 23. Okay. So he just turned 24 on Saturday, actually. So doing well for himself, but he's still living at home. So he's like, I've got X amount saved up. I got X amount on my Roth. I'm like, that's completely good. He's like, you should throw money into this crypto, right? He's going through his first phase of crypto, right? He hasn't been in a bull run before. He's messed around with some meme coins, but also some really good projects, threw 5 figures into good project Bitcoin, Ethereum, and he's up on a lot of those. Okay, cool. But he's like, you should throw X amount of money towards this project. I'm like, here's the thing though. It's not worth the risk for me to take that money and put it into that rather than putting it back into my business. Exactly. And people are like, I want automated income, right? Or all passive income. I want this. I'm like, trust me, that's great. But don't you think if a passive income can make you 2x in a year, right? Or even 3x in a year, if you invest that back in yourself, don't you think your business can at least do 2, 3, 5, 10, 20 times if you invest it properly? So that's kind of like the conversations I have with people, because oftentimes people try to compare themselves with one another. Yeah, it's like, look, you can't be doing that because we're living two different lives. I'm running a business here where I'm not going to be making as much money, or I'm making money, but it's all being reinvested, like you just said, into branding or literally personal brand, marketing, just normal business expenses, expanding your business, offices, supplies like this, like for shooting videos or whatever it might be. That most people are like, oh, I don't actually have those expenses. Like, yeah, if I didn't run a business, or if I didn't throw money back into reinvesting into my business, well, I'd make a lot more money. But at what cost? You're not actually building something for the future.
100%. I used to invest in the stocks and do like a lot of trading, but that was, doing leverage.
Yes.
And when you're in your business, you leverage yourself. You get to, for example, now I have invested like $10,000 on this brain guy.
Okay.
He's a neurologist, but he's a specialist, brother. And he's basically going to do a study of my mind and optimize my mind.
Yep.
You think a stock or a real estate or anything is going to give me the ROI that I can do to myself? Because I believe, first of all, we have a machine that's our mind. So we need to invest in our knowledge.
Yep.
And if you can optimize it, bro, you're going to be like a Superman.
Yes. And
that means your business is going to be a Superman as well. So yeah, I totally agree with you. And it all depends on what he been through. So maybe he haven't gone through the stuff that we've been, and it's fine. We all have our own journey.
Exactly.
So it's good for him. And going back to the living here, how do you manage to, like, as we spoke, all these expenses, because $2,000 is just the rent.
Yeah, this is rent. That's not food.
Exactly. So we're talking about, I see you eat good, because we take care of our body.
Yeah.
Whatever we eat, that's how we don't feel this fog in our head. And, we don't eat.
It goes back to investing in yourself.
Exactly.
Like you're saying. So it's like, instead of investing into your business, if you are the vessel that you're in, your body, right? If that's quote unquote the best investment, or you are your best investment. Okay. So you want to be growing your mind. You want to be growing your body. You want to be growing your business. Well, how do you grow your mind? Well, you listen to the right things. You don't listen to a ton of rap music all the time. Not saying you can't every once in a while. Like I do in the gym, but a lot of personal development, and then eating the right way. Like I have a $5,000 water machine that does reverse osmosis, hydrogen, all of that good jazz, and changes the actual pH of the water.
Is that the one that Gary sponsors?
No, different one. But okay. He talks about another one as well. That's very good.
It's like hydrogen or something, right?
Yes. It's like $325 or whatever it is. But yeah, where you can do it on a plane. I'm like, oh, that'd be good. So when I do travel abroad, and I am on a plane because I love drinking a lot of water, which I'll get to in a second, like that would be very beneficial. So investing into that, investing into, like, I get literally delivered to me $300 every single month with Butcher Box. It's all grass-fed steaks and ground beef, right? So that's what you've probably seen on the story before as well, eating healthy. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, why are you eating so much steak? I'm like, because it's good. Like Colin Yerstevin talks about that all the time. And if you follow him on social media, he does great with personal brand, but all carnivore diet. He eats a lot of sauerkraut, which I'm not personally a fan of, raw cheese, raw dairy. He loves all that. Okay, cool. I do a lot of like the raw cheese and then a heavy fish plus meat diet. Like I love salmon, things like that, but it's all eating healthy. So that's where, whether it's like life insurance, you're protecting your body, your family, yourself.
Like legal wise.
Exactly. Legal wise. Then on the business side, you've got business insurance, protection of yourself.
Yes.
But then you invest in that $10,000 into a mind coach, helping protect your mind, helping you develop things even further, right? Me eating healthy all the time, having the best water, some of the best food, and not eating as much carbs and as processed crap. Boom. That helps me optimize, not have as much brain fog, like you were saying as well. Then on top of that, I also did the gene test with 10X Health with Gary Brown as well to see, okay, cool, what genetic breaks do I have in my gene? You take that test once in your life, it's $600, and then it's like $100 a month for supplements. Okay, $100 a month, you're like, that's so expensive. But if you're investing back into yourself, you shouldn't see it as super expensive because you spend $100 on gas that fuels your car every single month. Why not invest all the things, food, everything to fuel you properly?
And not only that, because if you're investing in yourself, that means your performance is going to increase. So that means yeah, exactly. You're making more money. You're being more efficient. So yes, I mean, 100%. I agree with that. That's what everybody should be doing instead of wasting money on coins or whatever, you know? Like, it's fine. If you got a lot of money, do both. But for me,
prioritize.
Exactly. I'm my priority, you know, like, no coin is going to give me what I can give myself.
No, because even if you 10x that, okay, cool, it's short term. Whereas if you 10x in the short term on your body by reinvesting back into yourself, eating the proper things, drink the proper things, exercising, and you do, getting sun early in the day if you're doing cold plunges, saunas, or anything like that, amazing, even better. Okay, cool. Maybe it's a short term 10x, but in the long term, it's a 50x, 100x, 200x from doing what you're already doing.
I mean, I think you know this. Gary used to work with the insurance companies. He used to basically tell people when you're gonna die.
Yep.
Because it's as easy as tell me your habits and I tell you your future. You know, I tell you if you will be healthy, if you will look, you know, like bad, or if it all comes down to what do you do daily.
Yeah.
What are you eating? Are you exercising? Are you drinking a lot of water? It's just as the basics. We're not talking about anything crazy. Like, you don't have to spend what I spend on my mind. You know, I spent $10,000. You don't have to do that. But just as drinking water, the good water. I drink alkaline. I don't know.
Yep.
Is that the machine you bought? Yeah. Is it with rocks and everything?
No.
Because that's the one I have.
Okay. System with it as well. So it's a whole filter, reverse osmosis, plus turning it alkaline. So you can change the pH of the water as well. So anything from like lowest is 2.5 up to 11.5. So like the 9.0 is the best drinking water. They've got like 7.0, which is better for like babies when they're first starting to drink water. There's 8.5. I think it's 8 for like coffees and teas, right? 8.5 is a decent drinking water, but it's more like boiling water.
Got it.
Then the 11.5 is great for cleaning your vegetables. So it takes all the pesticides off, where I'll take a video of this with fruits and vegetables later. And if you clean it and like let it sit for 10, 15, 20 minutes, you'll start to see if you pour that water into a clear glass, the water won't be clear, it'll be yellow, because it'll literally show you all the oils and pesticides that it was able to take off of it, which is crazy.
What the hell?
Yes. And that's at the 11.5. So not only can you do that, but for your skincare then as well, is use the 11.5, wash your face off, boom. On the other hose that comes out of the machine, use the 2.5, right? And then use that on your face. And then there's the 6.0. That's the beauty water. So that like hydrates your face. So you do that 3-step process, and it's great as well. And that's not just drinking. That's for beauty. That's for all these other things. You can even use it as detergent for like that 11.5 because it cleans all this, and it's also water. So I think it's a great investment. I think it's one of the best investments I made. Yeah, you can buy it outright, or you can do a payment plan. So it's super awesome there. I'm not trying to pitch it, but it is great. But again, taking those things to invest in yourself, because most people are like, why are you spending $5,000 on a water machine? But don't realize, okay, well, how much do you spend on bottled water every single year if you're going out and buying it from the store, the cases or whatever? Oh, I spent a couple $100 this year. Okay, cool. So what about in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years time? This machine, you can just keep using it over.
But let's go even further. Like, what it's doing to your body, like it's going into in a water bottle, and the water bottles, they were manufactured, let's say, in Arizona, and they came all the way here, you know, through the sun, and the sun being hitting the bottled water. So it's like, it's so bad for your body.
And shit is sitting in a hot warehouse.
Yeah.
Like, not even just besides transportation.
Yes.
And you know, if you've ever looked at the water bottles, right? If you go in the fridge there or whatever, it'll say the expiration date. You're like, how is there an expiration date on a water bottle? It's not for the water, it's for the plastic.
Yes.
And it's like, on average, I think it's around like 18 to 24 months, almost 2 years that water sits before it then ends up getting to us as the consumers. So it's like, if you buy a bottle of water, it's 2-year-old water.
Yep. It tastes crazy.
Gross. Like, and you got microplastics in it, and then like, it's crazy. You could go down that whole rabbit hole.
And it's crazy. I feel the difference when I tried a water bottle and my water. I feel the difference.
And so the biggest thing that I saw was, I didn't see a difference right away, But once you start drinking the better water, when you can taste it, you can taste how different it is.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Disgusting, right?
Yes.
And that's what even in Europe has definitely better water in the US, even tap wise. So like when I was in Europe just now or a couple of weeks ago, we were in like Lake Geneva. We did Belgium. We did Luxembourg, went through Luxembourg, Liechtenstein, Switzerland. But in Switzerland, they have great water, right? So you know the water bottle company Evian?
Yeah.
So Evian, we went to Evian in France. So we're drinking tap water, but it's not like drinking tap water here in the US, which is contaminated and everything. No, like I tasted, I was like, just tastes like pretty good water.
Yeah.
We're good. Especially there, other places in Switzerland, right around Lake Geneva. But just seeing how you can literally taste the difference between bottled water, which is in plastic, versus glass, but then also like spring water, Dasani, which is the worst water ever, and how they put salt and other things in there to make you drink more. But even just different tap water across the country, and you can start to taste the difference. That's why I try not to drink tap water on everything.
I mean, just coming back to the basics, everything, it's like the water and the food that you're eating, it's important. So you can be in a high frequency at the end of the day.
Yes.
And be more productive and, you know, being taking care of you. That's how you can live longer.
Because think about it, I talked to a couple people. I don't know anything about cars, right? I know you like your cars, everything, but like I talked to other people like, oh, I threw X amount of money towards this part and this part, and I'm up in this car. I'm like, cool. What if you did the same thing with your body, right? Because the house that you live in or the apartment you live in is temporary, right? The car that you don't even own is temporary. You don't own any of those things. Most of them you rent, and or
even if you own it, you don't.
Nope.
I don't know if you actually know how like the system works
with real estate. You're saying with like the
no real estate. I'm talking about money in the United States, brother. I just figured not so long ago how like money is literally a note to pay debt.
Yeah.
So it's not even real. So you don't own the thing
already debt.
Even if you own it, you don't. Like what the hell? So it's like
it's really backwards. So a really good book, if you haven't read it yet, is The Creature from Jekyll Island.
No, haven't.
Very good book. It talked about how the Federal Reserve was created.
Okay.
And you could go down the whole conspiracy side of things with like Titanic and how that was a deliberate effort because...
Have you read your social in the back?
Oh, what it says on the back of your social?
Yeah.
Sort of how it's property of the Social Security Administration, which is part of whatever government agency.
But you know that they give you these numbers and everything when you're born, and basically everything is like, you have to do it. It's not by choice. You don't have a choice. You have to just do it.
It's because, okay, think about business.
You have to plug it into the system.
Yes.
Not choice.
Think about how businesses would set everything up. Okay, when you set up your LLC, what's the first thing you do? Well, you go get your EIN. Mm-hmm. Why do you get your EIN? Well, you need to register so you have proof of everything.
It's like your identification
number is the exact same thing. But most people don't even understand that the United States is a corporation. So here's where we really go down the rabbit hole, right? So the United States Corporation, which is how we operate everything, is located in the United States of America, but they're two completely separate things. On top of that, most people think that Washington, D.C. is part of the U.S. It's not. It's its own district. Meaning, watch this. So the United States Corporation is owned by Washington, D.C., which is not part of the United States of America. Boom, there's one. Okay, cool. So now the United States, technically Washington, D.C. is the military superpower of the world. Everyone knows that because going back to the dollar, what props up the value of the dollar? The military industrial complex. Wait, there's more, right? It gets so crazy. So we are the military industrial complex of the world. We are the military superpower of the world, Washington, D.C. Now, what is the banking capital of the world? London. So the Bank of London owns Washington, D.C., right? Okay, cool. Well, guess who owns the Bank of London? The Vatican. So watch this. So the Vatican is the religious superpower of the world. The Bank of London and England are the banking and the money powerhouse of the world. And then you've got Washington, D.C., which is the military superpower of the world. So those three things, banking, religion, and military and war. Those three things control the world. And it's the Vatican, the City of London, or the Bank of England and City of London, and then Washington, D.C.
And it's controlled.
Correct.
Like, they control it.
The City of London isn't part of England. It's its own entity, just like the United States and Washington, D.C. are two separate things.
mind-blowing, and nobody knows that.
Like, and if you look into it, look at like the Washington Monument, like the obelisk, same thing in England and in London, and same thing in the Vatican. Why? Because they always have to pay homage, and like there's a whole other thing without going down the rabbit hole completely, just understanding that those three superpowers run the entire world.
For me, it's mind-blowing. Like, once you figure the money is not even real, it's like, wow. So it's just created by thin air, literally. Just print it.
Yep. Although the entire monetary system is broken, that's why you have the Dave Ramsey's that are like, oh, save money and you can do this, that, the other. I'm like, no, Robert Kiyosaki is against that, Ryan Pineda, Grant Cardone, everybody in the success that, right? We want to take on more debt, but we want to do it in a proper manner. Because think about it this way. If money is already debt, right? Why not just use the debt that we have, so credit, right? To be able to get more money. Because if we're buying assets, which we do with the debt that we have, right? The money itself is getting devalued due to inflation, right? So $1 this year is worth 94 cents next year, or 90 cents next year, depending on how bad inflation is. Meaning, if we're saving money, we're still losing money. Whereas if we take on debt, let's say we take $100,000 or $1 million, we invest that into real estate, right? Yeah, we paid $1 million, but what if that real estate now worth $1.2 million, $1.5 million, $2 million?
It's appreciating.
Exactly. So the assets are appreciating, whereas we're still paying back in the deflation, the deflating currency itself. So that's where there's that gap where the rich get richer, the poor get poor.
Yes.
Because people listen to people like Dave Ramsey, where he talks about putting all your money into mutual funds until you have enough money to then buy a house and then use that as your biggest asset. When in reality, like, it's okay because you're not paying any interest, but you're also locking up $300,000-$500,000. Whereas you can use that same $500,000 and get 2, 3, 4 properties and have much more real estate. Yeah, you're paying the bank, but they're cash flowing, making you income. So yeah, 2 different groups of people that we talk to. Obviously, the more business and entrepreneurial driven versus more middle America. But yeah, the entire banking system is a scam. Use that to your advantage.
As you said, it's about listening to the right people and having the right team. So as you can see, for example, I have you for credit, and I have many more people for my legal stuff. For, like, as you said, like, we need a trust. We all should, like, protect yourself legally. And I have that on that side. Like, I don't know much. I know the basics, so I know what I'm talking about, but I have somebody that's the best at that, so they can take care of it for me. And the same thing in my business with, like, I try to know everything about it, but I have people that are the best at what they do.
Yeah.
And marketing and sales. Like,
and that's why you hire them, because think about it this way. It's like, yeah, you can pay someone to mow your lawn, or you can do it yourself, but that's a very low end work. When it comes to taxes or legal work, yeah, could you try and figure it out yourself, or QuickBooks or accounting, right? Yeah, I mean, you could, but how much time is it going to take away from you?
yes.
And what is that going to cost you? So if it takes you 10 hours or 40 hours to learn something, what is the opportunity cost, which I think a lot of people miss out on? So if I pay someone $350, $400 for my taxes, right? How long would it take me to learn all these different deductions, all these certain things? Probably a lot more, and I could make at least $350 in that time.
Exactly.
So leveraging other people, because I mean, I'm even dealing with that with not a huge legal thing right now, but where people just didn't deliver on the services that I pay for. And I'm not a lawyer, obviously, didn't go to law school, but I know to an extent of how to read contracts because words are very specific, right? Because it's like, if I tell you, oh, we can guarantee this and this, or I say, I can guarantee you this or this, there's a big difference between and or. So just very small changes in wording, pay attention to, but that's why, again, having the right people in your corner, whether it's taxes or real estate or credit or insurance or setting up trusts or whatever it might be, cool. Leverage those people, because now you're building that ecosystem, you're building that Rolodex of individuals to reach out to. And then if I need someone for legal or for taxes or whatever it might be, hey, do you know a person for this? Yeah, let me get you connected. Boom. Now it helps that person because they now have business. It helps me because I'm solving my issue. And a lot of the times, what that business owner or the other individual will do is throw a little bit of a kickback, like for doing saving a little referral.
For me, the most important person in this team that I'm talking about is the mentor. Just as you said, they already have experience. They already been through the mistakes. the trying and error. So for me, the mentors are so important. And right now I'm writing a book, and I still don't know. I haven't figured out the name. It got many names. It was going to start about, the glitch in the game of life. And it's going to talk about a game, like how life, it's a game. Cause for me, it's like a simulation. So it's going to talk about like how a game is played, going through levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How do you do that? By practicing every day. That's how you master level 1 and you go to level 2. Same thing. And cheat codes are mentors.
Yes. Because they can help you progress. They can sometimes help you skip levels.
Yes.
But more often than not, it's not that they're going to help you skip levels, but they'll help you progress through those levels much quicker.
Exactly. Because there is not a way to skip a level. You always have to go like day by day. You can't, just think like you're going to become a millionaire from being nothing. You know, there is some people, they already have the mindset because of the parents or stuff, but there's people that they don't. It's everybody have their own journey.
Yeah.
So it's basically about like getting a mentor in your team will fast track your journey. So like crazy.
100%. Because I was talking to someone the other day about, should I go to school or should I pursue work and entrepreneurship or whatever it might be, sales, let's say, right? I'm like, okay, well, think about this. If you go to school, and I think I was talking to him, I was like, what school did your sister go to, or did you go to in-state or out-of-state? He was like, out-of-state. Okay, cool. Well, that's much more expensive. So let's say in-state tuition is $20,000 to $25,000. Well, out-of-state will be probably $40,000, $50,000. Mm-hmm. So even if you spend, let's say, $20,000 going to an in-state school or $15,000 over the course of 4 years, that's $60,000 to $80,000.
Yes.
Do you think you're going to earn much more or learn much more by going 60 to 80K in debt in school from someone that doesn't have results? Or would you rather take that exact same amount of money, maybe even half of that or much less than that, invest it into a mentor in real estate or in e-commerce or in insurance?
Whatever industry they want to pursue.
Whatever that industry is, don't you think if you take that exact same amount of money, they can help you progress much faster with it? And it's not even about making as much money as possible, because if money comes fast, it doesn't last. If it's slow, it'll grow. That's a big saying I go by. But more importantly, like, you have that mentor in your corner, whereas with a professor, you might have them for a semester. So you have them for 3, 4, 5 months maybe, and then they're gone unless you build a good relationship with them. Whereas a mentor, yeah, you pay them once or twice or monthly or whatever it is, but they keep helping you. They keep helping you. They keep helping you. They know you from when you first got started at 18, 19, 20, 21 years old, whatever it might be, to 23, 25, 30 now, or whatever it is. And guess what? Now they go from a mentor-mentee, essentially business partners, right? Because they've helped you progress in what you're looking.
And yeah, I mean, I agree. You know, I believe we never graduate either. We always have something to learn. So if there is a way you can have a professor for life that will help you in your business, personal, anything. So I will tell him to go to, entrepreneurship and pursue whatever he wants, like whatever industry he wants, find a mentor and level up. Basically practice every day. Whatever you're doing, there is books. Whatever you're doing, you can do a ton of research and learn about it. So it's just about giving your time to it and becoming the best.
Yes.
Because there is also, you have a certain competition and everybody is working towards being the best. But if you stay concentrated, you do everything like right, you know what you have to do. You know, you need to wake up and do your thing and then get to work. What is get to work? Well, if you don't know anything about your industry, learn about it. Do a research.
Books, courses, videos,
so many things right now.
In-person events and virtual events. There's so many things.
Right now, there is no excuses.
No, people say, I don't know what to do. Oh, watch this. There's this amazing thing out there. It's 6 letters long. It's called Google. Right? You go to Google, you type in your question. Guess what? We have even better now. We have GPT. Ask it a couple questions and it helps direct you in the right direction to be able to achieve what you want. And then you go to YouTube, you invest in courses, mentorship, masterminds, events, whatever it might be, because those are the things that are going to help you level up. Mm-hmm. But you also have to be very specific with what you want.
Yes.
I was talking to someone about that the other day, or yesterday actually. He's like, well, what do you want? Okay, I want to make money. How much money? Okay, I want to make $10,000 a month. Okay, cool. Why? Because I want a car. Okay, cool. What car? Let's say like an i8, right? Or whatever, a Range Rover. Okay, cool. Why do you want a Range Rover? Oh, because I like the feeling that it gives. Okay, cool. Would you like the feeling that it gives you on day 1? Yeah. Okay, cool. What about day 5? What about 1 month? What about 3 months? What about 2 years from now? Where you still have that same feeling? Huh. Okay, cool. So why do you really want the Range Rover? Why do you actually want to make $10,000 a month? What are you actually going to do when you achieve it? And more often than not, when I have these conversations with people, it's not me necessarily having a long conversation and me talking. It's me asking questions, right? I think that's one of the biggest things a mentor can do, because most people now not only don't even know what they want, but they don't even know how to define the words that they're using. Here's a great example. If I were to say, Glenn, do you think entrepreneurship is risky? What would your answer be?
It is.
Do you think having a normal job and going to college is risky?
It is.
Cool. What do you consider risk? How do you define risk? Right? So look at right there. You're like, okay, how do I actually define risk? Because other people might be all want to be successful.
Everything is risky.
Exactly.
Being alive is risky.
What's the level? Me driving here in Miami, bro. We know Miami and South Florida traffic.
Yes.
That's some of the worst in the country. Like, what is risk? Okay, cool. Well, everything's risky. Now you just have to gauge what level of risk is it. Oftentimes people want to say, oh, I want to be successful. Okay, cool. How do you define success? Most people can't even define the words that they use. And that's why I think, again, a mentor, one of the biggest and best things that a mentor can do is ask the right questions. Because oftentimes when they do, I don't even have to say anything of, oh, you need to do this. You're going to figure out what you need to do simply by getting asked the proper questions, because now you start to think. Most people don't think. Most people don't mastermind, like we just talked about a minute ago, with themselves. Most people don't brainstorm, right? You go back to elementary or middle school, like, oh, brainstorm this and this idea. Cool. Have you ever written out what you actually want to do? Have you written out your idea?
Not even written down. Just sitting down for a moment and without having your phone, without talking to anybody, without listening to music, just thinking, just listening to your thoughts. Like, as simple as that. You know, just going while you're driving. Instead of listening to music, you can listen to a pod, you can listen to an audiobook, or you can listen to yourself. It all depends. Like, I don't tell people like, oh, you have to like read and listen to audiobooks every time. No. Sometimes you need to listen to yourself. Sometimes you have listened too much to an audiobook that you won't even remember what you listened to. So now you need listen to some music. But it all depends. It's a balance. And you need to know what to do at the certain moment. But you need to listen to yourself. That's really important.
Yes. So one of the things I like to do is I'll do like 3 to 6 months of like heavy grinding work, personal development, audiobooks, all these things. And then I'll take a week and a half where when I take a vacation, or more of a trip, not a vacation, because I define a trip, as like you're still working, you're still traveling, you're doing things. Whereas a vacation is like, I'm going to just lay on a beach and not do anything, right? Not work, not do any of that. Whereas like when I go to Europe, I'll travel around, we'll see different castles, we'll see different things. So it's more going around and doing things while still working at night because of the 6-hour time difference, 5 to 6 hours, but having structure there. So when I say that, let's go back to your thoughts really quickly, right? So I'll spend 3 to 6 months of just heavy grind work, and I'll say 10 days, or in this case, a month, right? Where relaxing, but I'm not doing as much personal development, because what that does, it gives me time to think, right? Because most people just don't spend time thinking, and they think, oh, why do I feel bad all the time? Why am I not achieving what I want? Why am I not getting the results? Well, your thoughts control your feelings.
They don't even think why. No, they just drink, or they just try to escape. Like, they don't even try to figure it out. Why is that happening? Why they want this? Why they want that? They just escape.
Yes. Whereas what they should be doing is focusing on their thoughts. Because when you focus on your thoughts, you understand your thoughts control your feelings. You're like, oh, this is why I'm feeling this way. And then guess what? Oh, because I'm feeling this way, this is why I'm taking those actions. Oh, because of these actions, going out, partying, drinking all the time, doing whatever it is, or just blowing money and not investing properly back into my business, that's why I was getting these results. Because your thoughts control your feelings control your actions control your results. So when you understand that, then you're like, oh, so maybe I do have to take that time, and whether it's meditate or just simply reflect on every single thing that you are actually doing.
I don't think you really need to meditate. There is so many ways to meditate. I heard people, they use walk.
as I said, silence. They walk by themselves, and you will have thoughts, you will have ideas. You need to listen to them, write them down, like just as easy as that. You can do yoga. I do yoga instead of meditating. I don't like meditating. I feel like, I don't know, I just can't concentrate.
Yeah, no, I'm not huge on that.
I really like yoga because you get to control your body, you get to stretch, you get to feel good, and the yoga instructor is telling you stuff, and it's amazing. You get to think also because you're not talking to anybody. You're listening to your yoga instructor, and then you're stretching. And sometimes they tell you like, oh, you have to breathe, I don't know, hold it, whatever. There is so many thoughts in those 5 seconds, brother. It's insane.
Yeah. But again, choosing what works for you. That's going to be the big thing. I think most people don't understand in the beginning because they'll hear their mentor say, oh, do this or do this morning routine. And yeah, that can be good. But just because it's good for one person doesn't mean that's going to be the best thing for you.
No, I need to admit it.
I love saying affirmations and meditating. Like, hey, for me, that doesn't work as well. Could I give it more time potentially and more energy and effort? Absolutely. But if I've also tested something out for a month, 3 months, 6 months, not really seeing results, okay, cool. Guess what? You take it behind the line, you shoot it, get rid of it, try something else, right? It's about taking massive action on what you're doing and then pivoting, right? Changing, okay, course correct. Does this work? Does this not work? Okay, it works slightly. What can I change in this? Okay, so meditating doesn't work for me being Glenn, let's say, right? But, if I go do yoga, that is essentially my form of meditation. Now you found out what works for you and you're able to see much more results. We call it reflect on certain things and just be better overall.
Yes, no, 100%. Yeah, but that's everything for today, and let's just wrap it up.
Absolutely. I appreciate you for having me. Love the new studio. We'll definitely be doing this more. Maybe some in some of the listings like we had out prior.
Yes.
Beautiful, beautiful homes. And